Hello and welcome to our session one, because we did a session zero last time, of Masks: A New Generation. We have our characters arrayed. We've talked a little bit about the backstory of the world, which we'll talk a little bit more about in a second. My name is Lowell. I'm the game facilitator, and my pronouns are he, him. And this session is part of the Gauntlet Gaming Calendar, which is an online gaming club / community that we have a lot of games each month that we put up on the calendar. A couple of times a year, we do a free open gaming convention. You can find out more about that and how we use safety tools and how we approach things at gauntlet-rpg.com. So that's out there as a resource. Please feel free to check on that. I'm going to quickly go through our layered set of safety tools, just so we make sure that we're all on the same page. Number one, we have our lines and veils. We have hard lines for dental horror, homophobia, racism, sexual assault, slavery, suicide, torture, both to NPCs, by NPCs, by PCs. That's out. And we also have being trapped in elevator or plane. So those are our hard lines for the game, things we're not going to be having happen. We have veils on the following items: graphic gore, harm to animals, harm to children, sexual content. These are all fade to black things, or maybe referenced, but they happen off screen. The next tool we have, of course, is the X card. You can say that verbally or make this gesture. That's the easiest way for me to spot it or hear it, especially for things you find problematic, objectionable, wildly off tone, player behavior. All of those things are legit for that. Also, if we start to slide towards something on the lines and veils list that maybe we haven't quite caught. And then lastly, open door, meaning if you have to step away, step away. We're all for that. So we're going to go through in character keeper order. I will do a shift on this each time, of characters doing introductions, giving us who they are, and then I'll talk a little bit about where we are setup wise. So let's start with Seismic. Give us the elevator pitch on who Seismic is. What do we need to know?
Hey, hello. My name is Francisco. I go by Cisco on the Gauntlet.
Pronouns?
I use pronouns he, him. My character is Seismic, also pronouns he, him. Seismic is equal parts Doc Seismic from Invincible, Prince Zuko, and Rufio from Hook. He is like a Kung Fu black belt, also has geokinesis. Let's see. His father was a big iconic heroic figure in Gauntlet City, and essentially had his brain scrambled by another character at the table's dad and another character at the table's technology. The playbook is reformed, and so he is in the path to make amends and show the world that he is one of the good guys now. And his main mechanic essentially puts him on this loop where just as he's trying to get out of the life of being a bad guy, it pulls him back in. So I'm excited to see that. Thanks for letting me share.
And I saw that we have a picture for one of your trio of people there. We have a picture for Kudzu.
Ooh, awesome. Somebody put him in there.
That
was not me.
Oh, great. Okay. Well, I love it
Yeah.
that we got these, somebody's done that. So we'll find pictures for Leviathan and Warlock. And
I do have a name for Warlock. I wanted to name him La Sombra, which means the shadow, and also harkens back to my Vampire the Masquerade days. I picture him as as a combination of like Spawn and Black Noir from The Boys. with maybe like a shadow behind him that does all the talking and stuff. And that's his
Okay,
warlock familiar.
nice. All right, that gives us a good sense of who you are. Let's move on to Hope.
Hi, I'm Brandon, he, him, and my character is Hope, she, her. She is a person, not exactly a human, although she looks like one, from the future. A future where things have gone terribly wrong and which she has escaped in order to join this team who is sitting on a nexus point in terms of what they can do and the magnitude that their actions will have in affecting their future, and in particular, her future. She has the ability to travel through local time, which manifests itself as which looks to everybody else like teleportation or opening up portals. She's as I said, she looks human, but if you X-rayed her or looked really close, you would see that in fact that she's not. That she's essentially a 3D printed person, and sometimes she forgets to breathe or blink.
So is that kind of your tell for that sort of not being exactly human, is the forgetting of certain habitual things?
Yes, when she does those things, she has a continuous oxygen circulation system, and her eyes have a biopolymer cover that's clear, and so she doesn't have to do either of those things. But she, she learned to do them in order to pass. However, sometimes when she's excited or is preoccupied with something else, she will forget.
Excellent. Let's come to our next character, Jasmine Knight.
Hi, I'm Thomas. I use he/him pronouns, and my character is Malika Ahmed, who uses she/they pronouns, and her superhero name is Jasmine Knight. They trained to be a gymnast. Their dream was to become an Olympic gymnast, and now they've kind of refocused that energy into becoming the greatest superhero in the world. But they don't actually have any powers. They're just acrobatic, and they can use swords, and they're just a nice person that is very good with people. That's about it.
Remind me, a public identity, secret identity?
No secret identity. Like she became a hero sort of like in the public eye by saving somebody, and ever since then she's been in the press, and the press kind of like are sort of, I mean, they're big fans of her. She's a popular face, and she has that tagline. She tells the press that she wants to be the greatest superhero in the world, and it plays well with the camera.
Excellent, excellent. Which brings us to our next hero, 404.
Hi there. I'm not muted or anything.
Nope.
Because sometimes I am and I don't notice. I'm playing 404, whose real name is Vincent Robinson. 404 is the brain playbook and is very smart. But growing up, his parents basically kept on telling him not to stick out. So he kind of hid that. But it was a thing for him where it just kind of stuck in his craw. So he started sneaking into Aegis facilities, and he actually worked out size-changing technology. So he'd make himself very, very small and sneak into Aegis to take out some of their designs that were not working right, take them home, fix them, and then put them back in, just to prove how smart he was. And that was, real fulfilling for a time. But there are side effects of that, which is notably that when you do that, people with government contracts sometimes get a hold of your tech and use it to reprogram the world's greatest hero. And that tech was actually meant to be a teleporter. which was tied to Hope's hero. But when you use it currently, there's nothing for you to hold on to on the other end, which Hope has, and no one else does. So when you come out on the other end, your brain's scrambled, and it leaves you real open to nefarious doings. And we had also covered previously that when 404 confronted Rex Raynar about this, without realizing that Rex was in fact the super big, nasty supervillain, that Rex had Mercy beat the snot out of him. So it's a good time for 404 to join a team and not have the snot beaten out of him anymore. Thank you very much.
Excellent.
Yeah, there you go.
Quick
I
question
should
for
describe
Jason.
him too. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to ask if, because I know you mentioned that like mechanical know-how is within sort of your power set. Is hacking also in there?
Hacking
Yeah.
is what 404 is actually best at.
Okay.
Because as the brain, you get one of his moves is called scientific insight. So anytime I can even a little bit connect it to computer science, I get a additional follow-up question on and assess the situation.
Awesome. I figured from the name 404, but I wanted to make sure.
Yeah. No, that and a whole lot of hiding because not found.
Nice.
Yeah, so in his superhero identity, he appears to be more confident. He's almost Janice-like in that way. He wears basically a black outfit with a black kind of motorcycle helmet, only a little bit more sleek, and then a little 404 in silver on the breast. And outside of that, he's a tall, skinny African-American man with glasses. And there we go.
Excellent. Last but not least, we have Foxling.
And I'm muted. Hi, I'm Kay. I use she, her pronouns, and I am playing Foxling, or Rodan Reynard, the scion, son of Rex Reynard, our wonderful supervillain genius, who sort of put our little team in motion through many small actions. He's currently, quote unquote, rebelling from his father and his villainous ways by becoming a hero and trying to find his own autonomy. He wears a sort of Nightwing-esque suit that's in lots of sort of orange, brown, and white, mimicking Foxing, with an overhood similar to Batman with very floofy ears on top. Again, fox ears.
So what's interesting to me, and I ask you this, as I always wonder about with labels, he starts out with a 0 in superior. Why do you think that is?
I think he feels he has something to prove.
Nice.
He's not in that position yet. He wants to be there, and he wants to have that. But right now, he's got to sort of scrape the way people see him and the way he feels are on par. They're not juxtaposed, perhaps like a delinquent.
Okay, awesome. So we have, what I want to do is go over briefly where we're at. We have world where a good number of superheroes have been turned villainous, that there's still question about why that happened. People believe, for some people, that that's just what happened, that's their nature. They shattered a portion of the moon, and it took a lot of superheroic effort to stop that from causing global catastrophes. And we have then a reaction on the part of the government to crack down on supers, to regulate them. There are no necessarily laws in place, but certainly local law enforcement, police, and Aegis operatives are bringing people in, are stopping heroes from acting. And luckily for those Aegis agents, they've been backed by new technologies from Reynard Industries to support their efforts to ameliorate the situation, to keep it from getting worse. So that's the world that we are starting in. We're also going to assume that your group has been together for a couple of months. That's going to be sort of in our background. Now, I know we have a couple of things I want to do before we roll into the starting scene. One of those is you have, Hope, a start session move.
Yes, I do.
So, yeah, tell us how that works, and let's have you work through that.
The so let me find it. I'm continually trying to evaluate and reevaluate the timelines to figure out what to push on and what not to push on. And so at the beginning of each session or when time passes, I roll Savior to find out how my investigations are going.
Okay.
So let me do that. Where's our dice roller? It should be in the same time, right?
Copy. Drop it in the chat. There you go. Oh, yeah. So we have an online roller. You are welcome to use that online roller, but you are also welcome to roll physical dice at home, either way that you're comfortable with.
Oh, we start off with a bang.
Wow. Right out of the gate.
Hope wakes up with a sudden realization. And so on a hit, choose an aspect of the future world. I remember you found the lead to learn more about how the present future that future aspect becomes the future version. The lead is particularly strong right now. You can ask the GM one question about the figure aspect in the line shot, honestly. I'll need your guidance here since we're starting from scratch, and I don't know really who to ask about.
Well, let's pull the table. So you're figuring out something about the future and some incident that will come. So what is it you want to know? Is it a key person, a key place? Anyone have a suggestions?
I have one built in, but I would love suggestions.
Anyone have an idea?
Well, we have things just about to go sideways with the government crackdown. The easiest thing I think is to play into that and even have some significant heroes. What significant heroes exist in the aftermath? Ho ho ho.
Well, and in that time, in the timeline that I came from, the government gets into a full-scale war with a lot of powered people, and it responds to it by having recourse to a technology that manufactures persons.
So what do you oh, Francisco?
Yeah, I had a couple of ideas. Correct me if I'm wrong, but 404's goal is to get steal back the tech that fell in the wrong hands. That's one thing that he's looking to do, right?
He would like to, but he's more interested in undoing the damage that it's done, and isn't real comfortable with anyone knowing that he's at all responsible in the first place. Okay. Seeing as how basically only Hope knows that right now, I believe, right?
Yes.
Okay, so maybe it has something to do with being able to get our hands back on that. And if I remember correctly, Rodon also wants his father to turn from his evil ways. So maybe it has something to do with that. And then I'm looking to redeem my father. So maybe it has something to do with that. I will also say, Lowell, I don't know if you want to do this, but I have a when time passes move. So I don't know if you want to treat that also as a beginning.
Yeah, we'll do that as a start of session when we resolve this one. That's a good point. I also want to check in with Rodon about the other, if you've decided any other names for things in a second. Redan.
Well, real quick, my when time passes move has to do with like a villain sort of crashing into things. So my other idea was, if my move triggers, then maybe the division has something to do with that. I know I just threw out a bunch of ideas, but
Okay.
Well,
Well,
what do you think, Hope?
Okay. Well, I think that that Pietro's Pietro and his father are an instrumental linch point in the government's reaction to this, and something his father does makes things much worse. And so I'm going to look at the future version of Pietro to find out how to prevent that pouring fuel on the fire.
And so tell me how this works for me as a GM. What do I have to give you?
So I'm asking a question. How can we stave off the incident that causes the government to take arbitrary to basically declare martial law?
I think that that one of the reasons that they reacted was that there was a significant destruction of property and life here in Gauntlet City in the near future, and that aftermath was at the heart of that, and that that it's coming up soon. There's something in play that just it was a devastating strike.
Okay, so basically the equivalent of a WMD going off.
Yeah, that's in play, and the clock is ticking.
Pietro. Pietro.
yeah.
Your father is preparing to let off a WMD or use his powers somehow to do that here in Gauntlet City soon, and we have to stop him.
Where do we start?
I don't know. I was hoping you could tell me.
Oh. I could tell you how I want to do that and involve you, or I could go do something that you may not want to know the details about.
You should involve me. I already know the details about a lot of the things that you could do.
And I want to definitely table that to sort of post the starting incident. Is that okay?
Yep.
Okay. Cisco, you said you had a when time passes.
Yes, sir. When time passes, roll plus your highest obligation, which would be 2. And the higher it is, the worse it's going to be. Do you want me to go ahead and make that roll now?
Yeah, let's see what that does for us.
All right. 11.
and on a 10 plus, what are the results?
On a 10 plus, the villain that I have the highest obligation to comes crashing into our life with a crisis. I'd like to pull the table and see which ones of the villains that we have set up is the most interesting.
I'm going to vote Kudzu.
All right.
Between Leviathan, Kudzu, and La Sombra?
Yes, sir.
All right. So I will make sure that Kudzu is going to cross paths in this starting incident. We'll bring them in.
Sounds good.
On that. I do want to check in with Rodon and see I know you had put some things out there about the people that you wanted to gain respect from. Did you add anything new to that in the meantime?
Yes.
Okay.
I just added a new one, which is my personal idol, which is a good devil. It's a reformed So she was a supervillain, and she sort of, I don't know if it was related to this event or not, but no, because that would be too recent. I don't know, like several years back, she had a something, and I'll leave that up to you, Lowell. Something happened, and she decided to become a hero, and she's now regarded as like a decent, upstanding hero. Sometimes she's still slightly unorthodox, but she gets the job done.
What was the name again?
Good Devil.
Good
Don't know what
Devil.
her actual name is, but her
Okay.
superhero name is Good Devil. I'll post a picture and such in the NPCs for her.
Excellent. And she is not one of these people that has clearly turned bad.
No, she has somehow withstood it. Now, whether that's because she wasn't on that mission, I think she's more of a solo worker, especially because she's a reformed. She's still like some of these people she's had, life and death matches with. There's a chance she may have killed someone close to them. And so she's regarded as a good hero, but her relationship with some of the other heroes is maybe not the greatest.
Interesting. I like that. It does suggest that the whole sort of transformation may have started with a group of heroes and then spread out, using them to capture others. I like that as a framework there. I have one more question before we go too much further into this incident here. It's my impression, based on conversations last time, and in fact, a couple of people threw this term around, that Jasmine Knight is the leader, at least for the moment. Does that sit with you, okay, Thomas? I wanted to check in.
Yeah, I think Cisco proposed that Jasmine Knight was the kind of heart of the team, and I'm good with that. I think of her as the public face in some way, just because she's already public. But yeah, I don't know. Leader is fine with me.
Yeah, so that's at least a starting point, so we know mechanically when we go to check in on the leader and so on where we're at with that. So
I just want to go post one thing, nothing defining, but I think later maybe I want to hear from Thomas, from Jasmine Knight, like what it's been like taking in Pietro when he's still such a disliked figure in the public. But we'll leave
or Rodan, who's attacked.
Rodan, yeah.
You got a motley of misfits.
I was gonna say we have like this bad boy edge to us, and Jasmine seems so straight edge. I'm looking forward to.
No, I think in the last session you asked also like what was the misdemeanor that Seismic could kind of tempt Jasmine Knight into, and I think Jasmine Knight isn't that straight-laced. So what I came up with is that because Seismic has this kind of rock thing, I think he pulls out, like every once in a while he pulls out a pebble or a rock, and then he turns to her and says, "I don't think you can. You think you could hit that security camera?" or something like that. And like Jasmine Knight kind of like, so I think that's the extent of the tempting or something.
Just like randomly pulling rocks as we like silently walk, and then just handing it to you, and then just like pointing at things. That's really great. I love that. Lo, I had also asked everyone to bring in a public event, a public catastrophe, or just bad thing that happened that I was involved in.
Okay.
Whenever you want to bring that up.
Yeah. So are you kind of polling the table about which is the one?
Yeah, I'm looking essentially for ideas for things that I can later refer to that like everyone knows that I've done, right? That's bad things.
Let's go kind of reverse order. Kay, did you have any suggestions on that?
Yeah, I think that there was a sort of like a park, like a Yosemite kind of esque place, sort of off the ways, and you guys cracked like this major area. And I think like opening it up, and granted you opened it up more, and so it was like, yes, we're making this more accessible, and look at all this wonderful space, but it also perhaps allowed the harvesting of certain minerals and needed things for nefarious purposes.
I like that.
yeah, I think maybe it was framed to you as like, you know, where we're making this more accessible, you know, this was in damage, or this was in chance of it like sliding off, or, you know, wasn't steady. Whereas no, we're actually defacing natural habitat and, you know, exploiting it.
Oh, I love that.
Jason, did you have any thoughts?
Yeah. The suggestion would to go with a classic jailbreak. You've got the Bell Rev prison, you've got the raft, things like that. And it gives you a pretty easy way for you to have direct interaction with your 3 supervillains. It's the justification because you're dealing with an academic. All right, you probably don't want a Foucault lecture. So the jail system is intrinsically unfair, and it's extra unfair when it comes to supervillains, because the nature of their being requires inhumane restrictions, and so to apply terrestrial law to these beings is in some way a perversion of justice, or at least that's what your father told you. He was very convincing.
So we're
That's
definitely
awesome.
calling the jail the Panopticon then? Is that what you're...
Yeah, that works.
Okay, just to make sure.
Yeah.
I 100% believe that Aftermath would not have said the whole like Foucault and like that whole thing. And that was a spoon-fed like a spoon-fed speech from Reynard to use.
That's awesome.
Thomas, did you have any other suggestions?
Yeah, so Seismic and Jasmine Knight have this sort of history, right? Where I said that the first time that Jasmine Knight tried to save somebody, she failed. And I think I figured out who that somebody is. So I think Aftermath and Seismic killed a superhero. And I think it was like the pitch is that her name was Android, like I'm typing it in chat. It's like Anne and the word droid. So she was like 404. She's like a cyborg. She had these like tech related powers, and they were a huge threat to Reynard's kind of like in the way that 404 is not an effectual like counter, like she was. And I think Aftermath played it off as like she's attacking us, like she's kind of an instigator and we have to hit back. So I think Seismic just got pulled in, and I think Jasmine Knight looked up to her, and there was this fight, and Jasmine Knight tried to get involved, but obviously couldn't stand up to Aftermath. And I think Seismic and her kind of like locked eyes, and like they both know that this happened, this Aftermath killed her, and so I think it's a big kind of like bad thing that like Seismic kind of has to deal with constantly, that he was there when she died.
I love that, and the way that I picture it in my mind is it was highly publicized, and because me and Aftermath, my father, have the same moveset, it is still unclear whether he was the one that like made the earth move in and dealt the final blow, or if it was me. Like you guys know it wasn't me, but maybe in the public eye, and maybe that's part of the reason to why Jasmine Knight brought me in, is because you believe me that I didn't do that act.
Yeah, I think there was this moment where Jasmine Knight literally saw you hesitate, and was like no,
there's still good in him.
Yeah. That's
awesome.
Does suggest that might be one of the key incidents for creating that wedge between you and your father.
Maybe that was the beginning of the end of our partnership.
Brandon, did you have anything you want to throw in?
Sure, absolutely. Just because it's interesting use of powers, I think that one of there was a laboratory run by Titan Technologies that was extremely high security, and you and your father broke into it by activating a lava subduction flow under the laboratory that effectively created a magnetic pulse that wiped the security system.
So we had like a large part of the city go dark for a while, and maybe create a bunch of other crime. Maybe.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Okay.
things went, yeah, well, because moving big amounts of magnetic magma around creates enormous magnetic anomalies in the area, and I'll say it ruined the local astrophysics, university astrophysics laboratory.
Oh, I have a bunch of science nerds super mad at me.
Yes.
That's oh man. I wanna throw in one more thing.
Sure.
Lowell. I remember me, myself, Francisco, going to Ground Zero at 9/11 in 2005, and it's still being like very somber and quiet, and there was a memorial there. And there was still like this big hole where things were still being constructed even in 2005. And so I think maybe right in the middle of the city, we have this big crater that was created by a large lunar chunk falling in, and it's still maybe like ground zero for our city.
Yeah, this hero was able to slow it, so it wasn't, a Tunguska scale event, but it certainly destroyed a block.
Mhm.
Okay, that sounds good to me. So we're gonna do some questions to set things up, to establish where we're at. We'll take our break, and then we'll kind of roll into play from there. Seismic, let me ask you a question. What are you and the rest of the team doing? Why were you here at the Arcadium Convention Center?
Have we established what the Arcadium Convention Center is, or no?
Oh, so let's imagine this is a largish convention center, one of those ones that has multiple floors, some underground stuff, maybe parking garage, has a hotel attached to it, different wings for different cons, a terrible food court, all of that kind of stuff.
Okay. I think that there is a fundraiser going on where heroes are engaged in a musical contest. And I have talked the group into forming a band. But we have a major lead that there is actually a villain here, and the center itself might be their hideout. And in fact, this whole thing might be like a front for maybe even like Rex Industries.
Interesting. Can I tweak that just a little, if you don't mind, that it is a musical contest, but more of like a superhero cosplay musical thing? And you're going in, maybe this is undercover, you've gotten some lead that there's villainy here that's going on, through the thing. Maybe it's a hideout, maybe there's going to be an attack. Does that seem okay?
So it's not actual heroes playing, but it's people pretending to be heroes.
Right.
But we are going in as like we are pretending to be ours. I love that so much. That's so great. Yeah.
So with that in mind, let me put this to you, Hope. What has the former hero, now villain, White Star, just done in the convention center?
You mean just this moment?
Just this moment, like when we come in, what has this villain just done?
He has just taken the podium to announce a ransom demand.
And this is on, like, it's being streamed on all the channels. So he's smashed through the wall, taken the podium, a lot of innocents around here, and has issued this ransom demand. Let me ask you, Jasmine, who else is in danger here? Got this convention center, we have this powerful flying, punching White Star villain, some gravity powers, that kind of thing. Who else is in danger in the convention center with this guy here?
Who else specifically apart from all the
But probably people here are attending this. What else is going on, or what else is nearby that's vulnerable?
I think maybe White Star could have some kind of power that when it goes off, it affects something that's nearby. Maybe does anybody have any ideas for some kind of like critical like infrastructure or something like that?
Maybe there's a hospital nearby.
Sure, but what could White Star do that could take out
gravity
the hospital?
powers that would create a pulse that disrupts power of all kinds in the area. Could be very dangerous.
I think he could shut down, like sort of what Hope described Seismic as doing. I think he has a version of that. And so if we take him head on, there's a theoretical chance that fighting us, he could take down the hospital next door. Yeah.
Absolutely. 404. Who do you know personally that is here?
Okay. So it's a cosplay battle of the bands, right?
Yes.
All right. Well, I'm going to use one of my characters from one of Rich's games, which is Wendell Williams, who his main thing is making costumes for cosplayers, who believes that he should be a hero, but his power is that he's got those suits, the paragliding suits.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically all it is. So his name is Sugar Glider. That's his superhero identity. He's just a tubby guy with a parachute. But he is there and he is in danger.
He's in danger, and he's less here as a hero and more as to show off the costuming.
No, it's to show off costuming is how he got the comp ticket. But he's really there for the costumes because he is just the worst kind of fanboy.
Excellent. And then for Rodan, I'm going to say that a different way every freaking time. I'm so sorry. I have a problem that sometimes when I say a name wrong once, it takes me a while to get it right.
Good.
How do you know that this is a distraction?
I think that he recognizes the individual, like the villain. Like, I think he kind of keeps a log and he's like, this guy is known for keeping a crowd's attention, but he's not actually that strong. If they really wanted to, like, with something like this that was going to have a lot of heroes that like Amoroso was probably sponsoring, they would have had bigger people.
Yeah.
With more powers, more strength, more muscle. Like, granted, this guy's very captivating. He's good with an audience. But he's not a big enough hitter to keep something of this level down.
He's a real showboat, can burn out, not good at crowd control. So, okay. So we know that that's in place. So you will have that realization.
He's good at crowd control in terms of like,
local,
like keeping them around. But in fact, he's best probably at crowd control.
Okay.
Like keeping them occupied. But that's it. He's best at keeping people occupied. He's not actually that strong. And given this kind of event, if they really wanted to do something, like they would have had more. There would also just be more people in general for the amount of people here.
Yeah. So that is our situation where we are going to start. We're going to start out right away in the middle of that. We're going to take our first break. We're going to take 10. So we will come back at about 4 or 5 after, and I will see everybody then. Okay. So let's establish the team pool. I think we are heading to a situation where we know we're going to be in conflict here. Start the session, I put 1 in the pool, and then when we enter battle, I add 2 more. So we're at 3. Does Jasmine Knight have influence over every teammate? So we don't add 1 for that. I do think that at the moment, everyone has the same purpose. So I'm going to put that at 4. However, in the break, I may have heard a certain amount of mistrust for the leader of the team. So I'm going to drop 1 because of that. I don't think you're ill prepared or off balance because you came here with the expectation that there was going to be something going on. Okay. So we are at 3 team in the team pool. So we know that we have that set. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start. Now, typically with a thing like this, I'm going to kind of do an order and keep rotating through. But if something like you need to change order, however you want to do it, initiative is not fixed or anything like that. It's just kind of trying to traffic control. So if you have like a thing that needs to be done, you can give that shout. But I am going to start with the leader. So one of those big halls, lots of chairs, people there, cosplayers arrayed around. Well, let's say we're on the first floor of this convention center. The wall has been shattered behind the podium, and a White Star, big silver and white suit. You can see the like gravity waves coming off of him, and he's grabbed the mic, big blonde hair, maybe almost a pseudo mullet. And he's walking around doing the talk there. Also, I'm going to say this. We are going to assume that you have communicators, so you can sub-vocal communicate with one another. Because you got a tech person in the group, and that would have been job 1. So there we go. So Jasmine Knight, you're in costume. You probably got the little placard for this, and whatever musical instrument you were planning on fake playing. Are you relieved that you're not going to have to play?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I think she can't play.
Okay. Yeah. So what do you do?
Were we? I can't remember. Were we expecting something to happen?
Yeah. You came here undercover because you knew there might be something nefarious, but you thought it might be a villain based or something. But here's a villain attacking. Okay.
And who does he say this is a ransom demand?
Yes. City elders need to pay, $10 million, or I start plucking cosplayers' wings.
Okay. Nice. That kind of thing. Okay. So yeah, given that I know, like as a player, know that Rodan thinks of this as a distraction, I think what Jasmine Knight is going to do is she's going to be like, okay, I think we need to handle this guy as quick as possible. These people are in danger. Like Foxling, can you get up in his face or something like that while the rest of us move into position?
Yeah, and then I think of the sub-vocal communication where Dan's gonna be like, yeah, this guy is just specifically just a face. We should deal with this post-haste and get on to the real thing. And I think he was gonna sing, so he doesn't necessarily have an instrument with him. And I think he just starts striding forward, like just parting through the crowd, like, no, excuse me, move, get out of here. And he's used to people just moving for him because of who he is. And he's going up to, I'm sorry, what was the villain's name?
White Star.
He goes up to White Star and just gets right in his face and is like, we don't have time for you. And
so it feels to me like you're trying to provoke someone.
Yeah.
Okay. Then let's have you roll that.
All right.
Sure.
Remind me again really quick. Okay, there it is. Basic moves, provoke, superior. Oh, fun. An 8.
An 8. So on a 7 to 9, they can instead choose to do this. I think that you come charging up through the crowd, come up to there, and get in his face, and he does this gesture and shatters the stage and the podium as he overreacts to your approach. Kind of thrown back a little bit, you're going to gain influence over him when that happens. 404, the order has been given by your leader. See our foxling go charging up, and then that shattering, pieces everywhere. People are screaming.
Okay.
Your friends in the crowd.
Was there an order given to me? Because I did not catch one if there was.
I think the instruction was just to kind of spread out and take position around him, but also like keeping in, like, now that we know that he's a distraction, also just kind of keeping an eye out. But I think, yeah, getting rid of him as fast as possible is now one of the things that we're doing.
Yeah. So what are you interested in doing? 404?
So 404 was really looking forward to showing off his synthtar skills. He's a little bit disappointed. Like, we're not doing this after all.
Hold on, rehearsing.
It was a real pain. So what's going to happen is, as debris is flying towards the audience, he's going to shrink it so that it's just pebbles. But he's doing it while playing with his synthtar, and like he's actually got like the shrink ray attached to the synthtar for now. It was something he had planned to do because he thought it would be cool. So it's like doom 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 boom 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 doom doom.
So that feels like defend, like you are stepping in the way to defend the crowd.
That is the plan. I'm better at assessing, but I will do this because there's an immediate problem. All right, so let's see how that goes. Yeah, get a +1 on that. Name the thing. And 2d6. 8.
That is an 8. So on a 7 to 9, it costs you. What do you want as the choice to pick there before I kind of say what the cost is?
I think you rolled a 3 and a 1.
Sorry, I was looking at the wrong thing.
Oh,
wait, how am I looking at the wrong thing? I am looking at the wrong thing. Sorry, when I rolled it, there was a recent roll that appeared on the right, and I thought that was mine. I, in fact, completely screwed up this roll. I rolled a 5. Thank you for correcting me. I am not used to this dice rolling.
I forget
potential.
You get so the good news is you get to mark potential, in the words of the illustrious Rich Rogers. But I think it is that as you kind of move up, as that wave comes through, he lets loose with another one and sends chairs and people kind of flying, but you'll fly backwards, and as you land, you hear the telltale crack as like he's hit this support pillar in a way that has damaged it severely. Like you hear that crack, and immediately your brain is calculating that this is a problem, because that's going to go down.
Okay.
Speaking of knocking buildings down, seismic.
Oh, well, that changes everything if the building is coming down. Seismic is used to taking things head on. So the minute that he either heard or sensed Jasmine Knight say, "We have to take this guy out as soon as possible," he's like, okay. But now the building's coming down.
I'll help them. Go ahead. Go get him.
Yeah. So what we're going to do is we are going to reinforce, whatever pillar might be coming down. So maybe even like moving people out of the way, and then bringing like earth around, whatever pillar he's just knocked down.
Let's have you unleash your powers. I think this is right in your power suite.
Okay, I'm glad you didn't make me roll defend. All right. Let's do this. I rolled a
No.
5. But since this involves the whole building,
Uh-huh.
I'm going to ask for help.
Me.
Okay. So you're going to use a team from the team pool then?
Yeah, I think
Well, he's going to
I'm.
need 2 of us to help him in order to
Yeah.
make that work.
Yeah.
I think if I help him, I can take 2 from the team pool and give you. That's one of my moves. So when I help a teammate, I can take 2 and give you 2. So
Awesome.
does that sound?
Let's resolve it that way, and then we'll come to Hope and see how Hope follows up. Now that is a 7 to 9. So how do you assist to get those 2 teams spent, Thomas?
I think while Seismic is sort of like focusing on this thing, he's about to get knocked over by something, and I step in the way and I take whatever shrapnel was coming
Oh.
towards him, or like a person was coming in. I take that hit. Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Steps in the way. This comes crashing. You keep it held. Now, Seismic, do you want to mark a condition, or is this unstable or temporary?
We're gonna mark a condition, man.
Okay, what are you marking?
I am marking. Insecure.
Insecure. Okay.
Because there's so many people here, and like I'm doing my thing, and right away it's already not working, and right away I need help.
And
so.
there are a lot of people who are going to realize who you are, and the screaming gets louder
Oh man.
because you're terrifying. You're people. You've been a hero for a little while. You've been trying to redeem your name, but still, you're associated with some bad stuff.
Indeed. And I think people are being people. And even though they should be getting out of the way, I think some people are like putting this up on YouTube right now. Yeah. Like, and I'm screaming, like, get out of the way.
Hope, what are you doing?
Oh my God, this is diverging. I'm going to try and get as many people out of there as possible by putting up a portal.
All right. So right now, that feels like defend, like
Yeah.
you are going to
Yeah.
do that, like you are focused on getting the people out of there.
Yeah, I'm creating a portal to the nearby hillside.
Okay.
That's at a decent distance from the building, and I'm saying out this way, out.
Okay.
So this is a defend roll. I can see how this is going. A 13.
A 13. Look at that. So a good chunk of the crowd. There are a few stragglers, but a large number of the crowd goes running through this. We see that portal, and we see them flood out into that hillside. And so the situation with the crowd is they are almost entirely safe, at least in this area. Sound good?
Yeah, and so the visual effect is that Hope puts out her fingertips, and her fingertips glow, and she describes a big circle with one hand, and with the other hand she gives it a little push, and it enlarges, and then you see the hillside through it.
Excellent. Let's come back to our leader. Situation has kind of changed. You've got Rordan up there, facing down this villain. 404 has attempted to kind of come up, but what do you want to do?
I think Jasmine Knight is going to look for whatever this is a distraction. Like, I think she trusts Rodan to kind of handle this, and like, so I think she just is assessing the situation, basically trying to look for what else is going on here. Yeah.
Let's have you roll superior.
I think that's a big 0.
Yeah, that was my plan. So okay.
Wow. Okay, that's 6.
That is a 6. There is one team left in the team pool.
I am gonna blow the team and help them out.
Okay. So what does that look like? How do you coordinate on doing this assess?
I think that I tap into the video camera network and say, all right, what do you want me to look for? And then feed the information back.
Excellent. So essentially, we can modify the assess situation. You want to know what else is going on here, right? Okay. And I think, as you're quickly running through the feeds, you'll get a feed of what's clearly a downstairs, smaller conference room. Looks like people in suits, kind of colloquium. And there is a villain, former hero villain, another one of those, named Deadless, who seems to have taken control. You see there are a couple people on the ground, and he's got this device, and he's grabbing people and kind of chunking in the back of their neck with it. So that is what is going on. Sound good?
No,
not good.
Oh yeah, it sounds terrible.
Rodan, and then we'll come to 404.
Yeah, so I think this sort of stayed shattered, but Rodan sort of like ends up like going down with it, so he's fine. He's sort of like almost in that superhero pose, like on the knee with the fist down, yeah. And he sort of like leans back up and strides again closer to White Star, and is going to directly engage him, sort of wants to use his powers to create these sort of cosmic cuffs to sort of, put him down right now.
Okay. So you've got influence over him. So you've got a +1, but you are directly engaging the threat here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's have you roll danger.
8.
An 8. So kind of slap the cuffs on him. And what are you going to pick for your choice there?
I'm taking his control of this room.
Okay.
He's essentially, been foiled. He's cuffed. He can't move.
Absolutely. So you go up, you do that. He lets loose with that gravity wave. I'm going to have you mark a condition. But he's kind of thrown back into sort of out of this room into like the maintenance hall behind. So he's separated from anybody he can immediately threaten. And I will mark that.
Yeah, Rodan's angry. This is a waste of time.
Absolutely. But when he hits the ground, you see him raise his hands, and you'll feel this pulse, and there are cracks that run along the ceiling.
Buddy, you're trapped in here. What are you doing?
404, what are you doing?
I'm gonna trust the rest of them to take care of this and go do something about Daedalus.
Okay.
So 404 like grunts while he rolls to his feet, because they've been talking. He's like, "I'm on it, boss," and then starts running, and then jumps and shrinks more. So he slides down through the along like the escalator that's right there, a little faster. And he's springing around, and he reaches down to his utility belt, and he keeps gadgets even smaller than him and then makes them bigger. It's a classic Hank Pym thing. So he's got this thing that kind of looks like a ray gun, but it is in fact a focused EMP, so that Daedalus won't know why his tech isn't working. And then 404 is like, flip, beep, 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 beep. and is trying to shut down Daedalus's tech.
Oh, that feels like you're directly engaging that threat as you kind of fly
It
into
is,
that
it
room.
is not, my friend. I am unleashing my powers.
Ooh,
I am
okay.
not interested in hurting him at all. I am interested in shutting him down long enough for other people to hurt him.
Perfect. Okay. Then let's have you roll freak.
Yep. And I was using my gadget's power to get that power. I get 2 of those, and then I get to take a condition. Woohoo. All right.
Fly in. Daedalus is in this, Greco-Roman pseudo armor made of gold. There.
I'm presuming that's technology that he's.
Oh yeah,
using.
absolutely. Yeah, he's a tech villain.
Yep. There we go. 9, unstable or temporary.
Okay.
Well, he's going to realize I'm shutting him down eventually. I'm hard to see, but also it's reliant on me keep on tagging him with my little EMP gun.
Yeah. So the armor freezes except for the most basic hydraulic actuators on it. He kind of steps back and looks around, and he is trying, clearly in his thing, trying to run through some kind of system reboot here and figure out what's going on. And meanwhile, these people in here are, they're trying to get out. Does that seem fair?
Yep.
Okay.
I am just buying time.
Okay.
I'm down with it.
Okay. You can hear Seismic the kind of shout of anger from White Star as Rodan has sent him flying back into the room, but he's cracked the ceiling kind of. What do you want to do?
Do we know what White Star's power set is?
Flying, smashing through things, that sort of physical force, and the sort of gravatic waves that can, create an EMP or break objects.
Okay. And so he's already taken a hit from Rodan, yeah?
Absolutely, yeah.
And how's he looking?
He's not looking great. He's angry right now.
Okay. Would you say that the building has been restabilized?
I would say that it is not. The pillar has been restabilized, but White Star's reaction to getting angry was to put more cracks in the ceiling here.
Oh man. I am going to say under my breath that I really want to engage this guy, but there's literal rock that's about to fall all around us. So I think in our comic book, maybe we see me rushing maybe one floor up to try to hold all this falling rock together.
You want to do that as Unleash Your Powers again? Does that feel right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Run up. What's the on panel, how do they draw your powers going off? What do we see?
Yeah, I think he has this earthbender kung fu, controlling your chi type of thing. So I think maybe going up one level is some wall running and very anime-esque sort of lines going by, with a big thought bubble of if only I could engage him, but I must save these people instead.
Absolutely.
And I think because it's very earthbendy, once he's one level up, I think it looks sort of like some sort of kata, as he is in the middle of trying to hold all this together.
Perfect. Roll
freak. Let's do the thing. I once again did not do the thing. I rolled a 5.
I think you get upstairs and you're just about to do that when the ceiling above you crashes through. You're knocked back by the impact of this body, and you are flung, and you see Kudzu, barely conscious, clearly beaten up, has flown through the wall, and is sort of laying there, and you hear the rumble as the crack gets bigger. But yeah, what happened? You don't know. Hope.
The place is coming down, right? Maybe.
This room, it's been cleared of most of the people, but White Star seems to be just angry enough that he doesn't care, that he is breaking things.
But I know what's going on downstairs. 404 can take care of that by himself.
Mhm.
And so I'm going to support down there. I'm going to say to Daedalus.
Deadless, yeah.
Yeah. The building's coming down. And it'll kill you too. We have.
Feels like you're trying to provoke.
Mhm.
Okay. Let's have you roll superior.
That time. Miss.
A full miss.
Yep.
I think that you appear in front of him and you're about to say something when you hear reboot complete, and boom, and he lets loose with this like heat beam out the front of him, and it will smash into you and slam you against the wall. Please mark a condition. And 404, you're like, oh.
I guess my go-to condition is guilty. So,
Okay. And don't forget to mark potential. Leader, it looks like Rordan has things under control, but we have the room and the situation downstairs isn't going great. What do you do?
Okay, I think I already committed in my head to having chased after 404, like with that information.
Okay.
So I think I'm not here when seismic comes down through that top floor. I think I've already kind of bolted down.
Yeah.
So I think I reach Deadless just as Hope shows up and then gets blasted.
Yeah.
So yeah,
come in the door. You don't see 404, but you can see the effect of the ray beam.
Yeah.
And what do you do?
I think you said he was doing something to the back of people's necks, right?
Yeah, he had a device that's clearly disabled that he was chunking. It almost looks like a staple gun in some ways to the back, and there are a couple people that are unconscious on the ground. They're not dead. You can see them breathing.
So I think he's still holding that device. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to slice it off with some fingers.
Okay. Does this feel like directly engaging?
Yep.
Okay. Yep. Then let's have you roll danger as you leap up into the fray.
It's a 9.
That is a 9. And there's no team in the team pool. So what do you want as your pick off of the directly engaged list?
I take that thing. I've got it now.
You got that away from him. And I think there is that moment when you're that close and it clearly has some built-in like reflex programs, and the arm flies out and backhands you. And I'm going to have you roll take a powerful blow, since I don't do that often enough.
Okay.
Great timing on changing that there, Lowell.
Hey, you could have done it with me.
So I have no conditions marked yet.
Yeah, so you're +0. So this is great.
Okay, cool.
Whoa!
Wow.
Oh God!
Wow.
The worst time to get a high roll.
So what do you want?
I don't think I can lose my powers in a terrible way. I just don't.
Well, you can. I mean, maybe
no,
you.
I've got an idea.
Okay, please.
So I think I will pick 2 from the 7 to 9 list. I think that's one of the options.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
So I think I will lash out verbally I think I will shout at I think I'll scream at Hope, and I'll be like, you shouldn't have come down here, or something like that. Like, like I put you up there for like crowd control or something like that. I think I just absolutely may not have even actually voiced this command before, so it's absolutely like uncalled for kind of lashing out.
Are you provoking them, do you think, or are you inflicting a condition?
I think maybe I'm inflicting a condition. Yeah.
Okay, and you have influence over them, right?
Yeah. You do have influence over me, yes.
No, Hope, not 404.
Yes, you do. Everybody has influence over Hope.
So,
sorry.
Yeah. So
I'm going to strongly suggest you consider provoking on account of if you roll well enough with provoking, we can add a team to the pool. However stupid, whatever you ask me to do is, I'm going to help you metagame a little.
Yeah, but
no.
But if he, but makes perfect sense to inflict a condition on Hope.
So let's start with that. What your first pick is. I mean, and you can certainly pick provoke and inflict a condition. You can do it on both of them if you wanted to.
Oh, could I?
Yeah.
Yeah, you get 2 choices.
Yeah.
And I could pick the same thing twice.
You can lash out at 404 twice. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. No. I think I'm gonna lash out at Hope and 404. I think that's what this is.
Okay. I think. Are you provoking both of them, or are you inflicting a condition on one, or inflicting a condition on both?
I think I'm going to provoke both of them.
Yes, that is the right answer.
That's the mechanical answer.
Okay. So let's resolve that provoke.
Okay.
But before I do that, what's your so those are both your picks? Yeah. So that we got that. Let's have you roll superior against Hope.
Okay.
That sounds very metaphorical.
Yes.
So many levels.
A 10. Okay, so Hope, we've got both of those. If you're going to do it, you get to add team to a pool. If you don't, and what is it you're provoking them to do? What is it you want to have happen?
Be a foolish action.
Yeah, I think right now it's like, if you're going to be here, at least get him out of here or something like that. So asking Hope to grab him and teleport like away alone.
Okay.
Something like that.
Let's have you roll against 404. Actually, you know what? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to let you have that 10 plus be for both people. So we only roll once. So 404, you also feel engaged in this command to get him out of here, regardless of the risks to yourself. Does that seem fair? Okay. Let's next panel, top of the page, back over to White Star. He's gotten up, dusting himself off. He's angry.
He shouldn't be able to dust himself off. He's manacled.
Yeah. So he's got that. He's angry, but he's still up.
Rodan is like, you are taking far much more of my time than you really need to. And he's like angry, and he's like stepping forward. And I think he's just gonna like right hook him in the face.
That's definitely directly engage.
Yeah. It's like this is getting ridiculous. Ooh, that's a 6.
That is a 6. I think you step forward.
He's too cocky, too angry.
Yeah. And he does his thing where he pulls back with those cuffs as you come in, and he knocks you back. And I think we're going to have you take a powerful blow from this smashing hit here.
Oh, nice. That's a 10.
That is a 10. So you get to pick one from the 10 plus list.
Yeah.
Make sure you mark your potential from the 5, though.
Thank you. Yeah, I think he loses control of his powers in a terrible way. I think he's so angry.
So what does that look like on page?
So I think on page he like gets his head like it's like whew, and it turns back and there's like this slight trickle of blood, but like it goes up on panel to his eyes and there's sort of like these swirls of cosmic energy and it goes to the whole body where it vibrates throughout and it's glowing and this glow and it's just like you should not have done that. And like the blood almost like pulls back up as it regenerates, like any damage or anything like that, because he's got these regenerative powers. And then it goes nuts and it just launches at this guy.
Launches, lights up the wall. I think that cracked ceiling is going to give from this follow-up. There is a moment you see, even as that anger kind of takes you over, after he hit you, you see him kind of flick backwards like in some sort of reaction for having struck you, like he went against something in his mind. And it kind of staggers back, and then whoosh, we see that conflagration kind of wash through here. Ceiling comes crashing down. Seismic, you step forward. There's your friend. Oh no! And then the floor whoosh, comes crashing down.
Oh man. I think when Kutso landed in front of Seismic, like we get a panel of him like and there's all these exclamation points on his head,
Right.
and then there's maybe an editor's note at the bottom of the cell giving the background of me and him. And then I think we turned a page and we just see like a full splat of Seismic looking at the floor. The floor has just crashed down. It's just a soup sandwich wrapped in a dumpster fire.
Mm-hmm.
And there is this thought bubble of like him going like, I need to help the team, I need to help these people, but I also owe this person something. And he's going to do something really selfish and sort of like create more dust and put up a wall of rock, and he's going to grab Katsuo and like sort of like knock the wall over, and he's gonna get him out to safety in hopes that that will erase his debt with him.
If you now you've got two choices. I will let you just do this without a roll, but if you want to roll defend, I'll also let you roll defend.
I don't want to roll defend.
Okay.
I just want to do it and then like deal with the fictional
Absolutely.
aftermath.
Why don't you want to roll
decisions.
defend?
I will roll. I think Brandon has a suggestion.
Brandon?
It's different.
No,
It's
not
different
a
aftermath.
suggestion. I'm just confused about where Kutsu got into this.
We don't know. He's sort of meteored in.
Yeah,
He's hurt.
He was just named, but he hasn't. It's like, when did Kutsu get?
He got slammed through the skylight.
Yeah, we don't know how
where
he
he
was
went.
injured, why he's damaged.
No. But why is Kutsu here at all?
We don't know.
We
No,
don't
I mean,
know.
When
He
did we
was slammed.
first see him? That's
Oh,
what
like
I'm
what's the
confused about.
background?
No.
That was the reaction. That was the hard move reaction to Seismic's last action. Essentially,
Was to hit White Star, and smash him, right?
No.
I mean, no. Okay.
No, he went upstairs,
Okay.
the floor above. Seismic went up there to try and keep the roof from coming in.
Okay.
And before he had a chance to use his powers, Kazu came flying through the ceiling and landed in front of him.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, sure. No.
Didn't understand. It's like, Kutsu.
So we will see that Seismic. And you do want to roll to defend?
I'm just like curious because I run masks quite a bit, but maybe I don't know enough about it. Jason, tell me why I should roll here.
You're looking at different narrative outcomes. If you roll defend and you screw the pooch, or even if you don't, the person who's going to take the impact is you. You are always going to be the person who is hurt with a defend roll. The degree depends on how you roll. If you don't roll defend, then you're looking at different outcomes. If you roll freak, you're looking at the possibility of powers going a terrible way. That's really your only other option there, because you couldn't conceivably roll superior or mundane in this.
Right.
So it's whether or not you want to keep the focus on superpowers, or if you want to keep it focused on potential sacrifice. In this case, you are trying to protect someone that you idolize in some ways. So I personally would put it on defend, because even if it goes sideways, the impact of that is going to be you taking a condition, and there's no way that you taking a condition doesn't play well with the narrative.
Okay.
And yeah,
I like
hope,
that.
And hope if they don't, Pietro, just save them.
Okay.
So, seismic.
Ah! Let's do it. Let's roll the thing. And I'm rolling, I think, at a -3 here.
One. Yes.
What's your savior?
Yeah, it gives
Yeah,
you a
but
good chance
he's-
for potential.
My
Yeah, it's
savior.
got insecure. -3.
Jason, I love your outlook here. But then I'm also insecure, so doesn't that give me -2 as well?
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm at a -3, you guys.
Yep.
I'm gonna get potential. Beepity boopa boopa. 8 -3 is 5. That's my fifth 5.
It's
And
six,
I think,
it's 6 minus 3 is 3. Actually.
So let's
yeah,
let's-
6 -3. Thank
let's
you.
roll with this. You will raise up the dust, smash through the wall, go outside, and kind of crash the ground. And you've got Kudzu with you, and there is an Aegis team out there.
Perfect. And they're
And-
watching me help him and drag him out, right?
Absolutely.
Right.
Cameras
Yeah,
are on
this-
you. Let's have you mark a condition.
Ah, this is so not good. I'm definitely guilty. I look sus as hell.
Okay, absolutely. And they're getting ready to tell you to stand down, hands up, all that kind of thing. Hope. Certainly, Jasmine Knight's words hit you hard.
They do, and Hope is used to obeying where she comes from. So she does. She's going to Hope has been injured by getting catapulted back into a wall. But she picks herself up and she launches herself at Daedalus.
Okay.
I'm just trying to put my arms around him, but that's a direct attack.
Okay. Let's have you roll danger.
7.
A 7. What do you want?
I want to grab him and teleport 500 feet straight up.
So essentially, you want to take like control of his positioning. That's sort of what's
Yes.
happening. Okay. So I think you will do that, and boof, a teleport. I'm going to give 404 an opportunity to since it kind of almost be simultaneous. He's going to mark a condition, and you'll hear the doo, 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 as his armor starts to overclock when you teleport. 404. Oh, and team to the team pool.
Yeah, why couldn't people order me to do things like assess or provoke? Okay, so I think I am going to do my little Ant-Man leaps to get up there also. And then pull out another gadget, which means that I'm going to have to take a condition.
Okay.
And it's like an old style Atari controller that I'm just going to slam onto the armor so I can take over Daedalus's armor.
Ooh, interesting. What condition are you going to mark?
I don't even know. Probably guilty. Let me have
Okay.
a look.
And I trade. It says trade blows. So do
Yeah. So you also mark a condition. Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to be angry.
Okay.
I made the right choice. I know I made the right choice. I don't
Yeah.
need people telling me I didn't
Tell
make the
me
right
what to do.
choice.
Hope, what are you going to mark?
I'm let's see. I'm going to mark angry. Actually,
Okay.
I'm pissed that this guy is just making trouble, and I forget for a moment my my prerogative.
Okay. 404. Does this feel like directly engaged? Trying to take him out using this?
Sure. You know what? I was going to do it as freak, but given the order I was given, I can easily
It's a
see
foolish.
it as
Yeah.
yeah.
2 team in the team pool.
And I'll say 404. No, don't.
All right. And that means my modifier is a 0. All right, so let's go for it. Let's see how that goes. Hey, I got a 7.
Got a 7. So what pick do you want?
Well, the thing I was taking from him was control of his armor.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, I think that it makes more sense to do this as create an opportunity for your allies.
Okay.
Because it's
well, I'm going to tell you, you're going to take him out with this
good.
hit. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm still going to choose to wait. In that case, I will take something from them. No, wait, because hold on, let me think about it for a second. Because Jasmine already took the thing that has to do with
could take his armor.
Yeah.
That's a wonderful toy.
No, I'm going to resist or avoid their blows.
Okay,
No, it has to be foolhardy. It has to be foolhardy.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I kind of feel like I was already foolhardy. But,
yeah, I'll give you that. You went directly engage a threat, which was not your strong suit.
Something I suck at.
Okay. So what do you want to do? What do you want as a pick? The armor or something else?
Well, I'm gonna
or the resist the blow.
I was gonna do the resist the blows.
Perfect.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that.
I think that you slam that on as he's kind of overclocking, and you interrupt that boost sequence, and you absolutely shut this down. And I think that's a point at which you and Hope and this guy realize you're 500 feet in the air.
Hope.
We cut back to see what the aftermath of your explosion of powers looks like, Rordon.
Yeah, so for Rodan, it's a bit of a disaster. Like the ceiling is definitely sort of collapsed a bit. I think White Star is like under a bunch of rubble and things like that because a lot of this was all focused on him. Probably knocked out, possibly maybe even like decently injured. And Rodan sort of blinking and looking at his hands. He's just like, no, I should be able to control this. And I think he like puts a hand over his head as some of the glow just like stops, this orange glow, and he like looks around. He's trying to notice if there's any citizens in peril from his minor freak out, or if this is sort of contained and he should go down.
It's contained, but you kind of look back over your shoulder at the room and you see there are a couple of people at the very back that were left in there that have their phones up and recorded that.
Oh boy. Citizens, the individual has been contained. You're all fine. Please get out of here. This is an active setting for your safety. And he's sort of like trying to clock like the models and the faces and like whisper messages like 404, I need you to like wipe some phones.
Yeah, I think even as you're doing that, you're hearing like the speakers of this is Aegis, controlled situation, and you can tell that the authorities are coming in, which might not be great for some of you. A lot of property damage.
Not for me.
Yeah, I think Rodan sort of sees this guy. He's out cold. He's not an issue.
And you know Seismic was in the room just a minute ago and he's gone.
Wait, where's Seismic? On his... Yeah, and he's going to be concerned because he thinks maybe Seismic got hurt or he's under something, and he can't for some reason, even with his powers activated. So he's like on his comm, like, Seismic, where are you? I don't see you at the location. Are you all right? Do you need assistance?
And I think we cut to outside with that voice coming through the comms. Seismic.
We get that speech bubble that shows it's coming over the con, definitely. I think there's a cell of like me standing there and like surrounded by the cars and the agents of Aegis. And I think I'm gonna hold up Kudzu and like whisper in his ear and say, just play along. I'll break you out later. And I'm going to
Wait, what?
and I'm going to yeet him toward the Aegis agents, and I'm just gonna throw him into the fire and say like, we have one contained, and then I'm gonna pretend like I'm getting back into the fight and I caught him when that wasn't really my intent.
So I think you're trying to force Aegis to focus their attention on him and not come over and lock you down. Does that seem right?
Absolutely.
Let's have you provoke them.
And what do I roll with?
Superior.
Superior.
Superior, okay. Which is currently, I believe, at a -2. Yep, it's at a -2.
There is 2 team in the team pool, and you know that Rodan is kind of looking to help you.
Okay. Oh, okay. I rolled a 10, which puts me at an 8. I think I'm just going to keep the 8 and keep the
Okay.
team in the pool.
Uh,
What are you getting the -2 for?
My condition? Guilty?
You don't.
No?
Guilty is minus. Oh, there it is. All right. Yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
I just was thrown off on things.
Oh,
Sure.
I think
narratively, I also look super sus. So
I think you gain the opportunity. I think the opportunity to run back into the building as they hit Kudzu with the keep him outs and the thing to do that boom, 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 overreaction. They keep hitting with these stun beams, even though he's clearly out, kind of thing. And you're running in as your buddy is being stunned into absolute unconsciousness to be taken to the Panopticon post haste.
Oh no, I don't think I consider him a buddy as much as I consider someone that I
Right.
feel obligation to.
Yeah.
Because I think, he's like sort of this like modern day druid poison ivy guy, right? And so I think that crack in the earth that where we were mining resources, I think that upset the balance of nature, and I think that's where he started coming in.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I feel really bad about this.
Yes.
So I'm gonna jump in the building and go like this, and then like make the wall come down, and put some distance between me and the Aegis.
That feels like a thing you can easily do in the fiction. You'll jump back in right in front of Rodan. We'll come back to how
Nice.
that gets resolved in a second.
Oh, and I'm going to lie to Rodan.
Okay, we'll come
And,
back to that in a
yeah,
second.
sure.
Let's see what Jasmine Knight is doing here. You gave the orders were carried out, and they are gone.
Okay, I have something in my hand, and I
Mhm.
think I'm trying to figure it out as I make my way up. Like, what am I looking at?
Does it feel like an assess here for you?
Sure, yeah.
Okay. Let's have you do that. Roar Dan. Again, this is seriously one of my problems is if I get a name wrong, I'll keep getting it wrong.
You and me both, man.
Oh, that was a bad pun. 404.
That was so good. Lol, leave him alone.
Jasmine
Yeah,
Knight
so I rolled a 7.
rolled a 7.
yeah.
So what is it you want to know?
I want to know what they were trying to do, what this thing does, but I don't know whether that's
Oh,
that's
yeah.
not one of the questions.
But I think that's a fair question given the situation here. I think you'll look down at this thing and you kind of look at the unconscious bodies, and you realize that this is some kind of brain copying, brain wiping device. Because the people on the ground, like you can see a lack of clarity. They've got they can't quite remember what's going on. And this device definitely has kind of a backup in it. So they were here stealing the intelligence and skills of whoever these people are.
Okay, wow. Yeah. I put that in a pocket.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Rordan.
Just double checking. I think I clear angry
Oh,
because I hurt someone
yeah.
and I certainly broke things.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I think Seismic comes in. Seismic, are you all right? You were missing for a moment. Where'd you go? Did something is something in peril?
What do you say, Seismic?
I think this is where Seismic is just gonna sort of revert to some of his old habits, and he's just gonna reflexibly lie and inform that he bagged he's gonna take credit for bagging Kudzu.
Kudzu, this doesn't really seem like his kind of scene. He's not the type to work with someone like White Star, but I'm glad you got them. I know that must have been difficult for you. And he like claps Seismic on the back, like job well done. And is like, come on, I think they need us downstairs.
I think we get a cell of like Seismic looking down, and then the cell is like from the camera up, and there's a bunch of squiggly lines, like he's feeling sick to his stomach.
But do you go with him? Do you go with Foxling down?
Yeah, I like half don't even hear what Foxling is saying. Like there's a ringing in my ears. I'm feeling so guilty. And like she goes, and I'm just gonna be like, okay, yeah, I think she wants me to follow. And I'm just gonna go. Oh, he wants me to follow.
Perfect. Meanwhile, 500 feet in the air, Hope. You're a good distance above the convention center. You can tell because 404 use their powers that they are present, and you're falling.
Falling never was a problem for a teleporter, but I'd like to teleport to the Panopticon if I can do it.
Ooh, interesting. That definitely for me feels like this is a potent thing. It is shielded. You are trying to unleash your powers to take this person to Panopticon.
Well, that's the only place I can think of.
Yeah, especially when you guys are not exactly on the good list for enforcement officers and such.
No. But dropping him seems like wrong.
Yeah. Let's have you roll freak.
12.
12. So we will see that vanish. 404. This is going to be your choice on this fictionally. Do you go with them, or do you essentially hop off when this happens?
I think if 404 knows where it's going, he doesn't go along because he doesn't care to be teleported into the middle of the government super prison. If he doesn't know, then he doesn't hop off. So let's presume he knows and he hops off, though.
Okay. So Hope will see that flashing, that vanishing, and you will appear at one of the active sort of entry points for this. This goes through the basic shields of the Panopticon, and of course there are prison people there, but you appear so suddenly. And what do you say?
This guy was using some sort of device on people downstairs at the convention center. and we captured him. I don't know who yet, but I
So-
thought you guys could take him and find out.
So we'll come back to you to see how that rolls out in terms of you, them reacting well or badly to your appearance. 404, flick off of there, Atom style gliding on the air molecules, I'm assuming. So where do we see you next?
I think that I would probably go. All right. So I'm a little cranky with Jasmine.
Mhm.
And also Jasmine already did the assess thing that I would normally do right there. So I think I will go and make sure that all the people, especially Wendell, are safe and getting out safely.
Hop down. People are clearing away. You hear them talking about Aegis outside, and people are like, that villain Seismic was here, and some people are saying he's not a villain. And there's a lot of that back and forth that's going on, even as you're kind of securing people. And does Wendell know you? Has he met 404?
I think that Wendell is a super fanboy and knows all the heroes, but doesn't realize that Vincent is 404.
So
because if he did, he would insist on making me a better costume.
So Wendell is up there. You kind of have shown your power, sees you come, and he's like, is Seismic a good guy or a bad guy?
I'm trying to remember how I feel about Seismic. I think I mostly feel guilty about Seismic. So I'm going to be like, look, I think we've all gone and done things that we might regret in the past, and we've been influenced by people we don't trust. But Seismic's trustworthy. Seismic's a good guy. Look, it's like that story. It's like in Journey into Geology, number 375, when there's a moment where they realize the whole time what they were fighting for was themselves. That's Seismic in a nutshell.
Does this feel like comfort and support if it's going over the headphones?
Sure. I think that's not a role I'm going to do well with because I'm angry. but
It's up to you. I'm good either way. How you want to play that?
My original plan was to provoke Wendell into trying to increase Seismic's appeal.
Okay.
But to be honest, I think comfort and support makes more sense.
Okay. Then let's have you roll mundane,
which I suck at. So I get a -3 on this. I made you roll it, and now it's me.
It goes around.
Yeah, this will be great.
Okay.
Hey, I rolled a 7.
Okay. Seismic, you hear that over the comms. So do you hear him?
I do. 404 sticking up for me.
And 404, what of those choices do you want to do?
Okay, so on this, I always give them the choice, but he has to open up to me. So it's they mark a potential, clear a condition, or shift labels if they open up to me.
Wait, how do you respond?
How,
Seismic, over the comms, do you say something? Do we see it on screen? Like how does 404 know that you heard this?
I think that he is gonna break down. I think he's gonna he just can't hold on to this guilt anymore, and he's just gonna be like, "Oh my God, I was trying to save Kudzu. Okay, I didn't really bag him, you guys. I'm so sorry." Yeah.
And you want to hand the choice to Seismic? What do you want? A clear condition, mark potential, or shift labels.
I want to mark potential so bad, but I think narratively, I just assuaged my guilt, but I just put this all on the team now. So I'm gonna clear guilty,
All right.
much to my chagrin.
What I think I'm going to do is we're going to take a little 5-minute break here because I like to do that at the hour, just so we do a bio break. And we might come back like a little bit later and we might flash back to what occurred, but I want to get the team back together sort of in the aftermath of this, so we can kind of see what that looks like. I hope that's okay. So let's take 5 right now. So what I'd like to do here, kind of looking at the time, I'd like us to do a scene or two kind of in the aftermath of that. We'll talk about like where that takes place, get a sense of the sort of team dynamic after that. We'll make some assumptions about things, and stop enough early that we can do that end of session process with have some time to talk, and do a quick stars and wishes. So that's my goal right now. We're going to take up in the aftermath the assumption, I think, being that Aegis was satisfied with capturing a major villain, and realized the publicity of arresting Seismic in the midst of this sort of heroic thing with the team might have been a problem. And I think that instructions come through. Do you think Hope teleports away first, or do you think they let you go, Hope?
I think they let me go after a tense moment.
So here is then the big question. Do you guys have a base? Do you have a meeting place?
Yeah, at least have rehearsal space.
No, I was about to
At
say,
least.
I think if we don't have a base, we have a basement.
Okay. So for the moment, let's say you have a basement, but Kay, you were going to say?
I was gonna say I think we have like a basement or a space that's like Rodan just like took from his dad. That's just like one of the places they own. I think they regularly, unfortunately, have to have 404 like check it for bugs, or for anything. And it's sort of weird because like Rex Reynard knows this, like knows where we are, like knows this is our place. But I think we've got enough tech on our side to like keep it safe and regularly check it. But I do think it's funny that if we have like a really lavish, wonderful like superhero den that's just completely funded by a supervillain.
Oh, like the Pride Mansion.
Yeah.
I like that idea, and I'm gonna pitch that it is the basement of a bar, because we have this like edgy sort of like bad boys amongst good guys,
But it's
Well, but yeah, she said she was pitching that it was kind of swanky.
well, I was gonna say it is a dive bar that your father used as a front for like his nefarious money laundering, but like the basement is.
I don't think he launders money. I think he just has money.
Okay, I mean maybe it was just an asset that he has for whatever.
I think it would be an upscale bar if it was going to be a bar.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Why don't just have it be an upscale bar and then it's
Yeah,
the
it would
basement of
just
the
be an upscale bar, the basement of an
Yeah.
upscale bar.
Okay,
Upscale bar, the kind of upscale bar that if you any of you 5 were to step in, they'd be like, nope, turn around, go out the door.
I don't think they'd tell Rodan no,
Well,
but they'd tell
yeah.
everyone else
Yes.
no.
Yeah, there's no chance that Vincent gets in there.
Yeah. But
I think in like our background, like Pietro, maybe it's like a running gag that Pietro is like constantly trying to get into the bar during working hours, and he gets to keep
So
turning. to get in.
I had more the image of the a sort of a big empty mansion, with
we've got
strange walkways down to underground water courses and things like that.
Well, for the moment, let's stick with the basement. And there's a walkway down to this. It is lavishly furnished here, as a safe house for villains that has been converted over. Let me ask you this. We'll work on describing it a little bit more next time. But when we come in the aftermath, as people are in different places in the room, Jasmine Knight, what do we see in the panel when we kind of come back? Our leader after that, what are you sitting? Are you standing? Are you pacing? Are you talking to someone? Are you trying to lead a team spirit meeting? What do you think that is?
Yeah, I think Jasmine Knight, I think we're all kind of sitting around, and I think Jasmine Knight is starting a meeting with like, okay, I think we need to have a conversation that starts with some I feel kind of sentences. And she goes like, I'll start. I feel awful. I think I really blew up at you, Hope and 404. Like I feel terrible about it. Like I don't know if you know, I'm not the leader here. I shouldn't act like it. You know, I'm sorry if I hurt you. And I think that's how she starts. And she goes, does anybody else have any I feel sentences?
404, I see you.
Sure. Like, I feel like I did awesome because I directly confronted Daedalus, which is like here on the tech villain thing. And normally I'm like here, but I was like here, not here. And do I think that getting yelled at sucks? Yes. Do I think I should maybe be doing more hacking and computer stuff because that's kind of what I do? Yes. But side note, I took down Daedalus. And I'm going to use my move.
Yeah.
Which is mission debrief. During a debrief, I'm going to skip to the part when you exaggerate your role in helping a teammate during the mission, clear a condition, and give them influence or lose influence over them, your choice.
Their choice.
Whatever I just said did. Their choice. Yep. And I am going to clear angry because I don't care to be angry anymore.
Okay.
And let's see here. I think you said that currently Jasmine doesn't have influence over me, right? Well, there. Now you can have it. You did nothing. It was all about me.
404 gives this aggrandizing speech. Hope you were the next closest in like to see all of this and got also the other person who got yelled at, which is the worst. So what's your reaction to this?
But that's not true.
Can I pause for a moment?
Sure, please. Yeah.
Because if I'm also allowed to tell Hope that they're awesome, I can use my team move.
Oh. Yeah. What does that look like?
So I think that 404 is like, honestly, I wouldn't have thought to do it if Hope wasn't already there with me. The fact that we were both on it, that Hope was able to teleport things, that Hope was able to move things away from the center. I don't think I could have unleashed like that if Hope hadn't unleashed like that. There was so much unleashing. Like, I don't even have a word for it. A bunch of dogs off the chain without leashes is the only thing I can come up with.
You're comparing us to dogs, and I think Rodan is sitting there with like it's funny because he doesn't need it, but he's got like a bag of ice on his jaw where he got hit.
And there's a moment where 404 goes, "Your name is literally Foxling."
Yeah, not a dog.
Okay, so we're a bunch of foxes off the leash. Noted.
No. You make it sound like we're rabid.
I'm
so Hope there's a question, there's a mechanical question here.
yeah.
So let's resolve that. Do you think you could have done it without 404?
It didn't start out well, but I think I kind of did do it without 404.
So you give influence to 404. Do you already have influence over
Yep.
Hope?
Yes, they do.
Okay.
Then 404, you may shift labels.
All right. Do, 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 do. Well, narratively, I think what you are describing means I'm going to shift Savior down and Danger up. If you want to fly solo and beat the tough one, there you go.
Is that okay with you, Hope?
Yep.
Okay. Hope, let's get your reaction in case any moves you want to trigger, and then we'll come to Rordan and then to Seismic.
I'm going to try and see if I can remember how 404 comes out, because I know Seismic's on a a divergence point, but I don't remember what happens to 404. So I'm going to try to remember.
What condition are you going to mark to do this?
Afraid,
Okay.
because I think I'm afraid that I know where this is going.
And you don't have any memories yet, so you're rolling with a +0.
-1, I think. Starts with -1.
Oh, does it? Oh, that's right.
And it's a miss.
That is a miss.
Which means it's entirely up to you.
So I'm going to have you mark insecure. Do you already have that marked, or do you not have it marked?
I don't, but now I do.
I think we flash back to that moment when you were at the Panopticon, and you're like, the Aegis people, the control people were all around you, and this figure was there, and they said, no, let her go. She doesn't matter in the future.
And so what's their role? Or
you don't know, like that was a person at the prison. He seemed to be in charge. Hadn't seen him before.
I don't mean them. I mean
what's
the
and you
404.
get to you get
Actually,
get
no,
choose.
on a miss.
I get to choose.
On a miss, I was completely wrong in my idea. You choose or tell me that as far as I know, they don't exist.
Well, let me check in with Jason on this. Are there any of those roles you like definitely don't want for 404?
Let me have a look.
They're under my extras, line 34.
I would have gone the wrong way, so I appreciate that. I don't really see him as a monster or corruptor.
Okay.
You could throw him in traitor, but wherever you want to put him, I guess.
I think in the future that 404 desperately tried to stop this. Desperately tried, and they fell, died, putting themselves at risk, and they're the martyr.
That is believable.
Okay. And so I'm going to say, I'm really sorry to 404. But I deserve that. I couldn't have done it by myself. I don't know what Deadless's armor does. And if you hadn't shut it down, maybe he could have gotten away from me. I was wrong. I'm sorry.
I mean, we We made a whole lot of wrong choices.
I think
Like-
this is a comfort or support,
Okay.
Yeah,
and it's
sure.
certainly about the future. So I get to roll with Savior, which has just been knocked down. So here we go. That's a 6. Do we have any team?
We have lots of team.
Yeah.
Do you want to cooperate by listening?
I'm happy to do it if that makes sense narratively. I think 404 has his helmet off, so he's got his much more human and not impassive face there. And I think you probably get to a point where 404 does something very oddly human and gives you a hug.
It feels like opening up. Is that Jason? Do you want to mark potential, clear condition, or shift labels?
Well, I don't have anything marked right now because I already cleared it by boasting. So I will take potential, I guess.
Okay. I'm going to move on just so we have a chance to everybody get the spotlight here. Kay, what do we see Rordan?
Yeah, so Rodan's like holding this ice pack to his this bag of ice to his chin, even though he doesn't need it. Like he regenerates, so like probably not even sore. And he's clearly sulking. I think he's got like a laptop open on the swank coffee table, and like you can just see on silent the clip of him playing in the background that these people have probably posted. And he's just like this kumbaya, it's real great. But we messed up. Not only did we mess up, I mean, granted, Daedalus and White Star are in Aegis custody, but the amount of property damage we did, the spotlighting, and then that's just the look of it. That's not even the moral level of doing wrong, and his eyes sort of level on Pietro. At least Kudzu wasn't involved in what was going on, but at least tell me they were up to something. Or did you literally just throw someone? I mean, they're a villain, but they're also a teenager. But you want to explain yourself?
Yeah. I think we get a cell of like Pietro like sulking in a corner, and like, you know, half of his face is dark, and like his normal like funky mohawk is like down, so he has like the emo thing going over one eye. Yeah, I think he's gonna stand up from the shadows and address the team and address Rodon's question and say, look, I'm sorry, I messed up. I lost focus of what we were doing. But the truth is I feel some sort of obligation to Kudzu for what my father and I did. And I think I even like pull it up on our super swanky, maybe 3-dimensional screen or whatever, you know, and I sort of like tie it in. I explain to the team that like because of what my father and I did, Kudzu, you know, was out living in the wild just fine, but he's now a villain. And I think I'm at that moment I'm gonna look at Rodan and say like, look,
Man.
you've Rodan, and say, look, you can revert, or you can understand doing things that you regret and doing dark things sometimes. Mechanically, what I'm trying to do is trigger a team move when you share a vulnerability or weakness with someone.
Okay,
Ask them what
yeah.
they would do, what they would do something dark for and gain influence over them. So I think Rodan, if he chooses to empathize here with me, like I would gain an influence over you.
So just to double check what you're saying, because what it sounds like, and make sure I'm getting this right, it sounds like you're like wouldn't you do something wrong for your friend?
Yeah, or wouldn't, yeah, essentially, like, wouldn't you do something similar? Because again, they're not my friend. This is
Yeah.
just someone that I feel like they have made desperate choices and now they've been labeled a villain, but because I infringed on their wilderness world, you know,
So
my father and
you
I
feel a responsibility
I
towards
feel a
them.
responsibility and an obligation, correct. So I am supplicating to Rordan here, like, wouldn't you go through extreme measures to assuage your guilt sometimes?
Not above the call of justice.
Hope you had a question.
I just wanted to interject something in the conversation. I think you did the right thing. In delivering them up. I know that was really hard, but it's critical for you. That's all I have to say.
So Vardan, it seems like you shut down Seismic's thing there. But Seismic does gain influence over you.
Mhm.
Do they already have it? Or is this new?
It's new.
Okay.
But I think it's only if they empathize with me do I get the
No, it looks
ask them
like
what to, no, oh yeah, no, you're right. It's not,
you gain influence either way,
Yeah.
either way with their response there.
Yeah.
yeah. I think that I think this causes enough tension that, like, it's going to make Pietro angry, and I think he's gonna grab a chunk of the floor of the basement and sort of smash it into the wall like a big boulder and say, like, I thought that you would understand. And
And I
maybe
thought
go,
you were trying to be a hero.
I think can I step in here?
Yeah, you're the leader.
I think he does like a golf clap as you like throw the thing into the lake, into the wall. He's like, yeah, good. I thought we're trying to be heroes. Good golf, good job.
I think Malika makes eye contact with Pietro and says, Seismic, are you a hero or do you want to be a hero?
oh man, I'm just gonna play the melodrama up here, and I think he's gonna give you a look that could kill, and sort of says, like, I don't have to answer these questions, and he's gonna storm out. And on the screen for everyone's display, there's gonna be a presentation that Pietro was going to pitch the team of how they should break out Kudzu out of the Super's prison, which I think Pietro has
stop
probably
you
spent
from
some time
storming
in.
out?
Yeah,
Can I
yeah,
stop
yeah,
you
yeah.
from storming out? I think
Yeah.
so, because I think Jasmine flips. Like, she says that in a very serious way.
Yeah.
And then she blocks you from going out. She says, the answer is really simple. You are a hero. Nobody doubts that.
Jasmine, do you have influence over Seismic?
Yes.
I think she.
Are you trying to shift Seismic's labels?
Sounds like
yes. So yeah.
Okay. So first, Seismic, are you going to reject that?
No, I think he desperately wants everyone's approval, but especially Jasmine Knight, who is, sort of like the closest thing we have the Paragon to, like, oh, good guy.
So let's. What do you want to shift here?
It would seem. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is collaborative on this. This feels like a.
Sorry, I mean, does it make more sense for this to be like a comfort or support? Like,
No, I think we're
shift?
activating that label shifting here right now. It
Okay.
really feels like it plays into that strongly.
Okay. Then I think what
Probably
does this
savior up.
Okay.
Savior up and maybe danger down.
Probably danger. Yeah.
Yeah, danger down.
Okay,
Is you okay with that, Thomas?
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah.
Okay. And you're okay with that, Seismic?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I think that as this is going on, we're going to stop here. I'm going to give a teaser bit for the next time. We're going to start next time with like a chance for everybody to do individual scenes and talk to PCs and stuff like that. We'll take that first chunk of the next session to do all of that kind of personal character interaction and figure out where people are in the aftermath of this. But I think on the screen will pop up an alert, kind of that same screen we just saw, that thing for kudzu. And I think we've got this new footage in from one of our camera sources that perhaps adds a new wrinkle to the battle earlier today. And as you can see here, you see the villain Kudzu there, and he seems to be engaged in some kind of battle with Aftermath. And then it looks like Aftermath flung him into the convention center, and it looks like that's when he was captured by agents. Aftermath, no longer on the scene, no idea what he was doing in the area or why he was fighting with Kudzu.
Man, Pietro just can't help himself. He's especially gonna look for any footage of him actually turning in Kudzu. Is there any?
We'll come back to that next time.
Sounds good.
So let's
Lol, you tease.
let's stop and let's do the end of session thing. The first time we're doing this, and walk through this basic moves thing, because it's important. So we start with these. Where is the peripheral moves here? On there, right down to bottom. Okay, so at the end of every session. So let's start with our leader. Did you grow closer to the team? Did you grow into your own image of yourself, or did you grow away from the team?
I'm not sure. What does it look like to you?
So I don't think you grew into your own image of yourself. I don't think you did things towards being like the greatest hero. I think it's really up to you whether you feel like in all this tension, whether you grew closer or further away. I think that's a real interesting back and forth choice. So how do you feel about that?
Potentially further away, because I think she blames herself for like that kind of exposure. So yeah.
So yeah, you blame yourself. Take influence over you away from another character. So what influence do you want to take away?
So I'm taking away somebody else's
influence over you. Someone else when their words don't have as much of an impact on you.
Only Rodan and Seismic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Hope also has it.
Yeah, but yeah. I think it's Rodan. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Let's come to Rodan.
Yeah, I think it's pretty clear he grew away from the team.
Okay.
It feels like the way that sort of blow up just happened. And yeah, I think that's unfortunately, I know you just got it, but I think Seismic is gonna actually, you know what? Not seismic, since you did just get it. And
Right.
since I just lost it, let's take it away from. I think only one other person. Who else? Yeah, so I guess it's 404. I don't like your. Yeah, let's take it away from 404. I don't. You're like boasting as if this is a victory, and in Morgan's eyes, like we did okay, but it really wasn't great. And with all of this going on, it's just
Interesting.
We took down 3 supervillains. If you count Kudzu.
We don't count Kudzu. Kudzu is an innocent victim in this, apparently.
The media is counting Kudzu, but whatever.
Yeah. 404.
They're also not giving you the credit.
Yeah, well, as noted, Kudzu does think that it was victorious. Our team is awesome. We're out there doing superhero stuff. Unfortunately, as much as I would prefer to have more connections with other people, I really only interacted with Hope and Jasmine.
Mm-hmm.
So one of them has to be one of the ones that made me feel closer to the team.
And seismic, because you sort of helped me with my feelings.
Yeah, that's me making you feel closer to the team, Bill.
Hope to tell you
Yeah.
by reputation something about your future.
Yep. So I'm gonna say Hope on account of if Hope remembers it, whatever it is, it means I mattered.
So you give influence to Hope?
Yep.
Already has a.
That
Okay.
means you shift my labels.
I'm gonna do that. I'm going to bump up your savior and your superior down.
Ugh. All right. That's fair.
And what do you want to clear a condition 404 or mark potential?
I will take potential.
There you go. And then let's come to Hope, since we were just talking about your reaction. Closer, your own image of yourself, or further away?
Hope feels like she's failing, so she's growing away from the team.
Ooh.
She doesn't feel this is their fault. She feels this is her fault, that she somehow did it wrong. But she's not sure why yet, just that it's all going to hell, and that's not the way it's supposed to go. And she's the wild card in here, so she feels bad, and so I think she's going to detach from Malika.
Okay. Nice.
And so Malika's going to lose influence over her because she feels that Malika is failing, but rather because she feels like making bad decisions.
And that brings us to Seismic.
Okay. We were this close to having seismic Pietro feel further away from the team, but I think in that last moment, Jasminite coming in and making him feel better by proxy, because he still sees Jasminite as the leader. He's going to feel closer to the entire team through her.
Mm-hmm.
And also he's just like really desperate for connection and approval.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that he moved closer to the team.
So you'll give Jasmine influence over you?
I think she already does. And if I give her influence again, doesn't she get to
She
shift
gets
my
to
labels again?
shift your labels.
Yeah, I think it makes sense that
Okay.
yeah.
Then Jasmine, what do you want to shift on Seismic?
What do? Okay. I think I'm gonna shift Seismic's mundane up.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think gonna hope for more human connection, just normal stuff. And what do you want to shift out? What makes sense?
Maybe danger.
Yeah, I'd say danger or freak.
Danger it is.
Okay.
And then Seismic, do you want potential or do you want to clear a condition?
I'll take potential.
Okay. Jason does make a good point there in chat, or Hope does. Hope has a lot of conditions marked. So we'll probably kind of lean into starting out with figuring out how that gets rectified, if there is a way to do that. And we'll start out with that. So that is the session. And we will take up with that next time. Did anybody hit 5 potential with all the bad rolls yet? Okay. This is a short run game. So what I do with short run games is everybody gets 1 additional potential on top of everything, just to kind of boost up the movement through. I would like to do a quick stars and wishes. Stars being things that you dug, particular scenes, character moments, interplay, all of that. And wishes being things you definitely want to see next time, things you want to see more of, things you want to see less of. So same order. Thomas, stars, wishes?
Yeah, I had a great time. I enjoyed the game. I think stars for everybody, nothing specific, but genuinely enjoyed everything. And no particular wishes.
Okay. That is a fair response. Jason.
So I'll go in reverse order. Wishes, I've got someone who's extremely good at assessing computer stuff who, for various reasons, never got to assess any computer stuff. Which is, that's frustrating. But it's only a little bit. I got the awesome role-playing scenes.
Yeah, I think it's good out of the gate, but we now that we've established that frustration once, we want to definitely play into your strengths. I think you're right.
But the relatively complex universe that we've put together in a very short time, I think, is very tasty. And one of the things about it is, I think one of the things that I hate about prepared worlds in any given role-playing system is that there are these sandboxes that are supposed to be perfect, and the characters come into this perfect world that they can't really affect. And then they're like, they're just living in that world. Whereas this world has room to grow. Is this the perfect base for us? Probably not. It's where we're starting. We have the potential to do more. Do our relationships with the villains, are they stable? No. Does it make any sense to rescue Kudzu? Probably not. Are we going to do it anyway? I don't know. Maybe. So, the instability of it, and the potential that the world has to grow is, in my opinion, the selling point.
Awesome. Kay?
Yeah. Well, first of all, just are we doing just wishes or the stars?
Stars and wishes.
Stars, okay, both at the same time. Okay, wasn't real clear. Yeah, I think we had a lot of very fun, like, little interpersonal moments that I think were great. Just like sort of build those connections. I'd like to get them for everyone, but I think we did have a couple, like, of sort of pairings, I guess, that had some really wonderful role-playing scenes together that I really enjoyed. In terms of wishes, there's a couple things I'm curious about. One of which is you made an offhanded comment about White Star being like, oh, shouldn't have hit Rodan, and I'm curious about that. I also am very curious about this future that Hope has, and like the roles that are like set out for that, and where everyone sort of aligns, I think, is something that intrigues me. I think I'd also like a scene with Rex. I definitely want to get Rex in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not just in a peripheral background way, but like actually present.
Yeah, and you've got those respect characters, so we definitely want to make sure we get 1 or 2 of those on screen next time, right?
Sure. Yeah.
All right.
Oh, also save Kudzu.
Save Kudzu. Okay. That brings us to Brandon.
So stars. Yeah, I like the world. I like the setup. And it was actually, I think, starting on a mixed moment like this is perfect for for the trajectory of the campaign. So I'm really a fan. And as far as wishes go, the chance to act out.
Yeah.
Because Hope's going to have to in order to get back to baseline, no matter how much help she has or doesn't have. And yeah, the rest will develop and play.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to circle that on my list here, and we'll definitely kind of start out early. That's a good sort of prologue thing is we come to Hope and what are they doing kind of thing. And Cisco.
Oh, so many stars. I'm gonna echo what Jason said. Really love, I guess that's a start to the system and the game that we get to build all of this together. And yeah, I agree with Jason that there's so many yummy bits already, and I think someone else said that too. Start to the table. Thank you all for accommodating my hearing loss and being patient while I ask questions, especially UK. I know that you had started with sound only and then you turned on your camera, and I just really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Start to whoever added the NPCs. I wish I knew individually who did that because they're all really cool looking and I love the pictures. Star for Brandon and Lowell. When I run masks, I specifically have a rule that says no playbooks that mess with time because I don't trust myself to keep it all straight. And so I just find you both very brave that we have just jumped into that timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly stuff. Star to Lowell for starting in medias res. My favorite way to start. Well done. And I loved your painting the scene questions and how you just rolled with that. That was masterful. Brandon, I love your commitment to developing your character. Brandon had sent me this email of where he sort of like explored what Hope's biology looked like. And it was just really neat. So I really appreciate all the thoughtfulness that you put into your character while not doing the classic, I showed up with my 10-page backstory. And now you have to abide by that. So well done threading the needle there on those two extremes. Jason, you have like the best side chat, and I love that. Every time we've played, I always enjoy our peanut gallery on the side. And I I love the 404's braggadocious moment. That was really freaking sweet. Yeah. To Thomas and Kay, I loved our scene, and I loved all the tension and the melodrama. Yeah, I just loved how that went. That was really awesome. Kay, thank you for helping me with all the pronunciation of the words and correcting me on pronouns and stuff. Much like Lo, once I mess it up once, it's like glued in my brain. But please be patient as I train myself out of my initial mistakes. Wishes. I really hope everyone considers breaking out kudzu in and out of character, but it sounds like that's already in play. So I know it's not guaranteed, but that's my wish. I really hope that's our next session. And if we can include like at the beginning of the next session, I don't know exactly how we're going to start, but what I really wanted when Jasmine Knight put her, like the way I pictured it was like a cell where like half my face was hidden, like you came behind me and like we just saw like your hand on my shoulder and it was like you're a part of this team, and then like my answer being kind of petty panda and being like you should say that to some of your team members, like talking about Rodan, so I don't know if we can work that in the beginning, but it's just a wish. And I think that is it, and just had so much fun. Thank you guys.
Awesome. Thank you all so much. That was a pleasure to run. And I appreciate everybody going along with me being a little hard-handed on traffic management, which is, we've got 5 players, so I'm a little more heavy-handed. Thank you all so much. I am going to stop the recording.